Hello. I know it's only the beginning of February, but I've kind of already done my bullet journal layout for March. I don't know what has changed in 2021, but last year I remember I was always really late with my bullet journal spreads. Like, I'd do it a day too late. So basically, like, at the start of September, I wouldn't have the spread for September yet, but somehow this time, I don't know, maybe I just also have a lot of free or spare time and I just don't know what to do with it. And exactly, this time I'm doing something, I tried to do it like in old writing, in old font, so I had to kind of like Google a cool font that I could copy. And here, like in the last video where I tried to draw, I just like, it somehow just doesn't always work. Because this time I actually really tried, which out of experience I should know in my case isn't always a good idea, because it usually just turns out quite disappointing. Actually, I'm being too hard on myself. In the end, it did turn out quite alright, but it just took a really, really long time this time because I wanted to do it right. And this month for the theme, I kind of picked that old English font because I didn't really know what was special about March. You know, January was like fireworks because of the new year, and then February was hearts because of Valentine's Day, and somehow that's the only thing I equate February to. I don't know why. I've never actually celebrated Valentine's Day, but somehow it just always makes for a good bullet journal spread. And then for March, I just basically didn't know what to do. So I googled special things that happen in March, and I found out that originally, I think in Roman times, like March was the first month of the year, which is interesting, but I couldn't really do anything with that information. So I found out that St.Patricks Day is actually in March, and despite me not actually celebrating St. Patrick's Day, I just thought that 4-leaf clovers and, you know, in that style and font would be something new I haven't done before. And this time, because I was scared to ruin it, I actually did sketch out pretty much everything first with a pencil, just because I had no idea what I was doing. And also I kind of adapted the theme to me, so I didn't include like rainbows and gold, and so that you would usually equate to St. Patrick's Day. Also just because it kind of seemed a bit like a messy spread to me, and I think I explained last time that I somehow like everything to kind of like match and be like equal. So if I have like the 4-leaf clovers in green, I also afterwards need something in green. My hand looks really weird right now. Oh yeah, and that's my cat. Eventually, drawing the 4-leaf clovers got a bit hard because he decided to lie on my hand, and then I had to push him away. And as you can see, despite me actually sketching out the 4-leaf clovers in advance, I still just ended up doing random 4-leaf clovers all over the place. And what I was talking about before, so I kind of figured if I'm not going to do an actual St. Patrick's Day theme, because I kind of changed my mind midway, and I wanted something green because of the colors that were supposed to be somehow equal and fit in my mind, I decided to do some sort of like branches thingies that you can see here. I don't know if that makes sense. I kind of changed the theme midway, but I thought that would maybe look a bit more cohesive to me. I don't know, sometimes my mind works in weird ways. I mean, in hindsight, it's actually, I'm slightly frustrated because it took a really long time to do it in the end. But I mean, that's okay, we can live with that. Also, because I tried to be really organized this bullet journal spread, and I'd draw everything out first with pencil, like I did with the 4-leaf clovers, and eventually I just, here my laziness just kind of shines through again because I didn't do that with the branches. So they kind of just got really messy and all over the place. You'll see it later. I'm kind of spoiling the end result. Well, you probably saw it on the thumbnail anyways. So because this part took relatively long to do, the next few seconds of me drawing will just be trying to draw these branches. Oh no, I forgot apparently, because I realized the top row of the branches became very, very messy. I actually did kind of line out the bottom of the page, the branches that I draw, just so that I kind of avoid making a mess. It did turn out being quite messy in the end anyways, but I tried, and all you can do in the end is try. The next few seconds might actually be quite boring because it is just me doing the branches, so I'll kind of speed it up. Can one tell that it's been sped up? I did speed it up a bit, but we still have some awkward silence now because it will be a while until something else happens. Okay, so how are you doing? Wife and kids? Anything? Yeah, usually they do that in the movies when there's an awkward silence. But at least here somebody can actually speak back. This is not really working, is it? So let me do something that I always do when I don't know what else to do. I complain. It's been really, really rainy here, and I don't like it, and it's been frustrating, and it's had an effect on my mood. And yeah, it's just not that fun. And I mean, I'm grateful and I appreciate that it's kind of a first world problem. And I actually kind of like every weather, like every weather has their own benefits and fits a certain mood. But if it's just like the same weather for days on end, and it also has an effect on my sleep. I think I sleep worse with like weird weather. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, at least now something's happening again. So I finally can step back into my role of a narrator. Though, to be honest, basically all I'm doing is just erasing what I wrote in pencil before. Ooh, but now something interesting is about to happen. Da da da! Sorry, I didn't find the sound effect on the editing program, so I just had to do it with my voice. But what I meant to say is, don't you hate it when you erase something and then the paper rips and it's frustrating, and it happened in my last video, and I think I'm just cursed with erasing stuff. Okay, so now that that brief intermission is over, we can go on to color the 4-leaf clovers with green, because that's their color. Can you tell I don't plan out these narrative voiceovers really? I also spent like 5 minutes choosing the green I wanted for the 4-leaf clovers before I actually started coloring them. Another thing I noticed, and I don't know if anybody else can relate, but it's like when you start coloring in something and like with a pencil, and then over time your pressure increases, so the shades change. So like if you want to color in, for instance, the 4-leaf clovers all in green, and then you start off shading it lightly, but over time the pressure in your hand increases, so the 4-leaf clovers get darker and darker, and you have to go back to the original 4-leaf clovers and just like color them in a bit more because you want them to have the same shade of green. Is that just me? I hope not, because it does take up a lot of time and it's kind of frustrating, and I don't know why I do it. And if you can relate, please tell me, because then we can connect over our not being able to color in 4-leaf clovers evenly, or like basically coloring anything. Also, you can tell I didn't film this all in one piece, because like once I have a bracelet on, once I don't, once I'm wearing a shirt, once I'm not. I actually filmed it over the course of 2 days, because that's how long it took me. Or at least I felt like I needed breaks in between to kind of like be in the mood to color. Do you know the feeling? Like you have to be in a mood. And now we get to the branches. I don't know what accent that was supposed to be, but basically, yeah, now I'm just coloring in the branches in a different shade of green. And luckily I realized that this video is taking way too long, so I just kind of like skipped it over, and because you don't need me to narrate myself coloring something green. And now I'm just kind of working on the weekly spread. I kind of used the same idea for the layout as last month, just because it worked really well. And this time, again, I'll just kind of take a theme or a piece of the theme from the front page and put it as an item in the weekly spread where I write the date. Ooh, and I just noticed now I'm wearing nail polish. What a fun little detail. And a different sweater. There's quite some action happening right now. Not really, I'm over-exaggerating. But I like to have the layout like this, because like this I can see the whole week on one look. And on the right I can jot down any notes if I have any. I'm also just going to show like one weekly spread. The rest of the month of the weekly spreads, I'm just, you don't need to see me doing each one of them. So now I'm just basically still doing the mood tracker. and the favorites of the month. Again, kind of taking items from the title page and kind of translating them onto the rest of the spread for that month. Like here you can again see with the branches and the 4-leaf clover. And that's that. Here is still a little fun montage of the final flip through.